Unbelievable. I'm Danielle Martin and welcome to Protruck TV, where you're about to experience a new generation of off-road racing. Ivan the Ironman Stewart created Protruck Racing, and we're going to take you behind the racing scenes, straight into the pits, talk to all the drivers, and show you what it takes to be a winner. So strap on that seatbelt, hang onto that seat, and get ready because Protruck TV is about to take you for the ride of your life. Coming up, the Laughlin Desert Challenge, the best of Protruck Racing. Later, a personal account of the life of Ivan Ironman Stewart. And Ivan Stewart will give us tips on how you and I can tackle the off-road like a pro. But first, Ivan and the rest of the team racers are going to show us why these trucks are the hottest thing in off-road racing today. Move aside because Pro Trucks are coming through. They're fast. They're tough. Pro Trucks are the newest breed in off-road racing. But what is it that distinguishes Pro Trucks from all other off-road vehicles? To find out the answer to my question, I decided to go to the man himself, Ivan Ironman Stewart, the world-renowned off-road racer and creator of Pro Trucks. So Ivan, tell me what sets these Pro Trucks apart from other off-road racing vehicles.
Well, what we've created is a real entity in that these Pro Trucks, everybody uses the same chassis. They're very sponsor-friendly, and that all the manufacturers represented: Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet, GMC. We're building a Toyota Tundra right now.
You could call these trucks a wolf in sheep's clothing, because under those stock exteriors are full-blown race vehicles with space-age constructed frames and a small block V8 engine with a sticker price around $80,000.
They all have V8 power plants, make about 360 cubic inches, 400 horsepower. Everybody has the same wheel travel, BF Goodrich tires.
It really does make for some great racing. I asked a few Pro Truck racers what they thought of this innovative approach to off-road racing.
The Pro Truck series has developed into a very competitive class. There are some really competitive teams out here, really good drivers. This class, you probably see some of the tightest, most competitive racing in all the desert racing going on right now.
The great thing about the class, I would have to say, is that all the trucks are even, so there's no money racing. I mean, money always comes into racing, but not as much so in a spec class.
It's the future of the sport.
The spec approach to racing has allowed these drivers to dedicate their time to perfecting their driving and racing skills.
It's a real driver's class. So if a guy's going out and win a race in a Pro Truck, he's going to be a real driver. It's not going to be a money class. He's going to have to be a driver.
So that makes for a pretty intense competition.
Believe me, this is the closest racing class, bar none, to any of the classes in off-road racing right now.
That's excellent. I'm really excited. Thanks a lot. Don't go away, because up next, we've got an in-depth look at the life of the most famous man in off-road racing, Ivan Ironman Stewart. Welcome back to Pro Truck TV. Now that we know what the Pro Trucks are, let's learn who Ivan Ironman Stewart is through the eyes of the people who know him the best, his family. Ivan Ironman Stewart is the greatest off-road racer in the history of the sport.
Yeah, he's a hero of the sport. I mean, he's the best out there.
He is a caring father and a loving husband.
What I honestly think makes my dad the happiest is probably my mother and his granddaughter, and probably us next, and then after that, racing.
Ivan Stewart has amassed 83 career victories, 8 drivers' championships. He has won 17 Baja 500s and 3 Baja 1000 races. But in spite of all the success and acclaim, if Ivan had had his way, this incredible career may never have happened.
My burning desire was to be the superintendent of a construction company.
Ivan Stewart was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1945. At the age of 5, Ivan's family moved to San Diego, California. From the very beginning, Ivan Stewart loved competition.
I think remembering back as a child, always being very competitive, playing football or running or jumping.
Eventually, Ivan was introduced to motorsports.
My brother-in-law actually was into racing jalopies. They were old 1947 Fords and Chevrolets. That probably got me hooked a little bit on racing.
But the man who would one day become the world's best off-road racer had other plans.
When I was in 3rd grade, I remember my burning desire was to be the superintendent of a construction company here in San Diego.
During his first year of high school, Ivan met his future wife, Linda. what was her first impression of Ivan Iron Man Stewart?
He was just a little scrawny kid, you know, but he was fun.
Linda and I met in high school. I remember at a party.
At first, you know, he stood back a little bit and he was pretty quiet. I could tell, you know, he had his eye on me.
I got up enough courage to ask her for a date.
Before long, their future together seemed certain.
It was always real subtle, you know, that we were just going to get married. I mean, it was just always going to be that way.
Fresh out of high school, Ivan and Linda married. Ivan began to pursue his dream of becoming superintendent of the Atlas Fence Company.
Started young, started raising our family, never looked back, and we keep marching forward together.
During the next few years, their 3 energetic sons were born: Brian, Craig, and Garrett.
The earliest memory is probably racing around in the back of a dune buggy, the 3 of us, sitting in this tiny little seat, and half the time terrified and half the time having fun.
While pursuing his career at the fence company, Ivan was involved in motorsports only as a hobby.
I first got earned my right originally to even ride in a race car. In fact, the one behind me here was working as a mechanic for my high school friend Bill Rinko. And we'd work on the race car in the evenings and on weekends.
In exchange for his work as a mechanic, Ivan got to ride along in the race car. Ivan's first opportunity to drive a race car was the result of an unfortunate twist of fate for his longtime friend, Bill Rinko.
He called me just before a race, a 300-mile race that we had in, we were doing an Ensenada called the Ensenada 300. He said, Ivan, yeah, you're not going to believe this. I just fell off a ladder and broke my leg.
So Ivan was like sorry his leg was broken, but ecstatic that he got a chance to drive himself.
Well, I mean, this was my golden opportunity. I've been riding for a year. I didn't have a race car, couldn't afford one, but now I was going to get to actually drive.
The race proved to be a difficult one.
Right off the bat, I rolled the race car.
I'm like, oh God, there we go, blew it again.
And then later on, the throttle cable broke.
He's like doing the throttle with a wrench.
And we ended up actually winning that race.
That was a turning point.
After winning that race, you know, I felt that I could win it in my heart, but actually winning the race said, yeah, Ivan, you can do it. Not only do you think you can do it, you can do it. Let's go win another one. So we did. We went out, and the next year I pretty much drove the entire year, and we won the championship.
Before long, racing began to overshadow his career at the fence company, where he had already become a superintendent.
Once I had met that goal after a couple of years, I realized that, wow, this is it. You know, there was no more goals, so I had to find another one.
That's when, he goes, I know what I want to do. I want to go off-road racing.
The entire family's passion became off-road racing.
We just went, we'd slept outside on the trailer, whatever we had to do, you know, out in the cold or rain, but it was an adventure.
We'd be in like an old Bronco or an old pickup, all of us with my mom driving through Baja, just trying to catch my dad, chasing
no doubt.
him.
She knows those back roads as good as he does. We grew up as little kids in the back of that. My mom driving 100 miles per hour, brushing her hair.
Yeah, for years.
Ivan continued to hone his driving skills, and soon the Iron Man nickname was born.
The Valvoline Oil Company put up an award called the Valvoline Iron Man, which was a big trophy, and $500 to anybody that could sign up to drive the whole Baja 500 or the Baja 1000 solo.
Ivan became the first man to win the Baja 500 driving solo. Eventually, the Stewarts began to consider racing full-time. But where would the money come from?
Nobody was making a living at off-road racing at that time. But I could tell we needed to try it.
Finally, an opportunity presented itself.
Biv Goodrich said, I'll give you, it was $15,000.
One of the most exciting days of my life was the day that I closed the Atlas Fence Company door behind me, and I walked into off-road racing professionally.
Racing full-time was a big risk.
We had 3 kids in high school, one of them ready to graduate, and we had $15,000 to live off of.
And luckily about that time come along opportunities to race for Cal-Wells Precision Preparation and for Toyota. And that was back in 1982.
There was one hitch. Toyota wanted Ivan to drive a mini truck.
At the time, mini trucks, well, there were these little putt-putt things that, men didn't drive these things, And Ivan said, I'm not driving a mini truck. I'm just not going to do it. And I remember saying, I don't care what it is. They're going to pay you, you're driving it.
Ivan embarked upon a career he could never have imagined.
Once I had the opportunity to race for Cal-Wells, Toyota, and all of the opportunities that might bring, the sky was the limit.
Soon, Ivan Ironman Stewart is the biggest name in off-road racing. Ivan Stewart has been so successful that he almost seemed invincible. No one could have predicted the tragedy that awaited the Stewart family on June 6, 1999, at the Baja 500. Next, the Stewart family relives that fateful day.
That was probably the worst moment of my life.
Ivan Ironman Stewart is arguably the best off-road racer in the history of the sport. He's faced some of the toughest desert challenges any man has ever faced. But his family was about to face the toughest challenge of their lives. As Ivan Stewart started the Baja 500 on June 6, 1999, no one knew what tragedy awaited the Stewart family. Ivan's son Craig and his wife were watching the race that day.
He felt he was standing on the inside of a corner, which turned out to be the outside of a corner. Consequently, one of the race trucks got up on two wheels and rolled into the crowd.
Our team manager, he grabbed me and he said, Linda, it's Craig. And that was probably the worst moment of my life.
I don't remember much. I know the car went off the road and ran us over, my wife and I.
His wife was covered in blood. Craig was laying there really out of it. There was a lot of people all over. It was a real scary scene.
Craig and his wife were rushed to a local hospital where his injuries were diagnosed as minor.
It looked like he was going to be fine.
Ivan continued to race after being informed Craig had suffered only minor injuries. But no one realized that a terrible mistake had been made.
We didn't know how bad Craig was hurt until many hours later when we got him back across the border and got him to a trauma center here in San Diego, and that's when they found his blood clot and took him into emergency surgery.
Got hit in the head right here, and my skull was cracked, and there was a blood clot on my brain.
Ivan finished the race in first place, his 17th Baja 500 victory. He was still unaware of Craig's desperate situation.
I wanted, of course, Ivan there with me.
Dad didn't even know of the seriousness of it. He was told that he really wasn't hurt that bad. And once he found out, he rushed to the hospital, and he was, just like the rest of us, really concerned and real nervous.
The surgery was a success, and Craig's recovery continues.
Got my hair all back now.
That's a good thing.
Got some big things have happened. It's been a long year for sure.
He's doing wonderfully.
I feel real fortunate that he didn't get hurt worse than he did. In my 27 years of history in off-road racing, I've learned a lot. And I think that I can come back in what we're doing and contribute a lot to the safety part of aspect of off-road racing.
Through triumph and through tragedy, the Stewart family's love for off-road racing has continued to unite them. Today, Pro Truck racing has become yet another Stewart family affair.
I'm directly involved with a lot of Pro Truck issues.
Oh, I think Pro Trucks are the only way to go. It's definitely the future of off-road racing.
I think that the whole reason my dad started the Pro Truck is because he loves off-road racing. He wouldn't have done it if he didn't love off-road racing so much. He works every day, every night, and my mom. They both work all day just to make this business successful, to make the drivers happy. I mean, that's the whole reason behind them even doing it.
Though Ivan began his life with modest goals, through the love and support of his family, he has never hesitated to enlarge his vision. Together, Ivan and Linda have climbed to remarkable heights.
We've been pretty successful at, the different things that we've done. I mean, but it's a whole family. I mean, we all, my sons and especially Linda, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of hard work that we've gone through to reach our goals. But we just keep marching forward, and I take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and go for it with all the gusto I can imagine.
Coming up, this year's Pro Truck teams. And find out who won this year's Laughlin Desert Challenge. Welcome back to Pro Truck TV. I'm Danielle Martin. Ever wonder who the men are inside these machines? Well, come along with me, because right now we're going to meet some of this year's Pro Truck racers. These are the men that seek to be challenged by extreme conditions. They're mavericks. They're pro truck racers. I was really excited about meeting Ivan Ironman Stewart, so I did my best to be presentable and make a good first impression. Hey, big guy, how's it going?
Hey, Danielle, glad to meet you. I got some just like those. Mine are a little bit greener.
Ivan and I hit it off immediately. Now it was time to meet some of the pro truck teams. I was surprised to see how different each team was with their personalities and approach to racing. This is Plank Motorsports Race Team. Is there a lot of rivalry going on between the drivers?
Yeah, I'd have to say there is. You get into each other out there and bang some glass up. Tempers flare and you get going.
Hey,
That's a spare part for the truck, actually.
can't talk. But according to the stats, the big-time champions were Johnson Motorsports. Okay, you guys are really both Rick Johnson.
Both Rick Johnson.
That's pretty interesting. You guys run into trouble with that?
Quite often, male. So once in a while I get a little mixed up in male.
You guys are champions.
Yes. Yeah, 2 years. 2 years in a row, 98, 99.
Ryan and Grayson, right?
Correct.
So what do you guys think about this Pro Truck Series so far?
So far, it's been a lot of fun and real exciting for us.
That's great. Now, do you guys all have nicknames?
Big Kahuna.
These teams are really dedicated to their sport, and for most, this is not their only source of income.
I work for the state of California.
Doing?
Work in the prison system.
How long you been racing in the Pro Truck Series?
In the Pro Truck Series, I started in 1997.
I'm here with Don and Kevin. Danielle, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Who drives here?
Just me.
Just you? And Don, you're the co-pilot?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Tony Lucitro. Well, I own and operate a structural steel welding company.
And the equipment looks really high-tech. What is that tube going to your helmet?
And there's a filter behind the seat that pumps clean air into the helmet.
I saw this thing pop on and off.
It helps you get in and out of the truck, and also the co-driver can help you drive.
Okay. So do you run Red Bull through the truck?
Yeah, we run it in the transmission and the engine, It's, it makes the motor run better than anything.
Now it was my turn for a ride. I was a little scared, but I knew Larry would take it easy. Well, maybe not. Stay tuned, because up next, these pro trucks come to life in the Laughlin Desert Challenge. Welcome back to Pro Truck TV. After watching all that racing, I think it's my turn to do a little off-roading myself. And just my luck, Ivan Stewart is here to give us the Toyota tip of the day. For a beginner, what are some of the main do's and main don'ts of going up a hill, 4xing, desert safety?
Well, Danielle, I think probably the most important thing is the fact that we're not racing, to not get in a hurry, drive within your limitations. I understand that you don't have a lot of experience driving in the desert. So realizing that there's no sense in going out and trying to race up this hill. One of the most important is not getting in a hurry. People come out and they get in a hurry and they think we're going to be in a race. We're not going to race. We want to go up the hill efficiently, smoothly, within the limitations of ourselves and the vehicle, right? And make sure when we get to the top, there's a place to turn around. It looks to me, before we got to this hill, it doesn't look like there's a cliff on the other side, which there could be. From down here, it's hard to see. And then a real smooth, steady throttle all the way up the hill. Make sure we're in four-wheel drive, and it doesn't look steep enough that we have to go in four-wheel low, so we'll just key in the four-wheel high, smooth throttle. And it doesn't take a lot of speed. And like I say, we're not racing, we're just smoothly, efficiently driving up the hill, missing the rocks with the sidewall of the tire, and you can kind of feel how the tires grab. These tires have got great traction, you just let them kind of feel the rocks and just pulls you right up the hill. And just keep the momentum. You kind of almost play with the throttle, just keep that momentum going.
Ivan had his chance to show off. Now it was my turn.
And then keep in mind that we haven't looked under the vehicle yet, this particular Tundra, to see the lowest part of the truck, the differential.
Yeah.
So if there's the lowest part of the truck, you wouldn't want to hit that with a rock. You kind of feel the tires bite.
Yeah. It's really...
Yeah, great traction.
Yeah. So remember Ivan's tips to successfully negotiating a hill. Don't hurry. Always acknowledge your limits. Make sure there's room at the top to turn around. Be in four-wheel drive. Be smooth on the throttle. Watch out for rocks. Always protect your differential. It's race time at the Laughlin Desert Challenge. Laughlin Desert Challenge drew 12 pro trucks in the competition for the 2000 season open. All eyes were on Rick Johnson, who won the Pro Racing Series last year. But it was Larry Plank from La Habra, California, who stole the show in his Malbert and Mitchell grinding Ford. Saturday was the first of 2 race days. Plank started in the 6th row of the 2 abreast 12 starters. Charging hard from flag to flag, he executed the quintessential come-from-behind victory. On Sunday, the field of 12 pro trucks went off the line in the same order they finished the day before. Plank put his pole position to good use. Jay Reichardt, piloting Steinberger's Ford, and Steve Scaroni were having a down-to-the-wire battle for second place. There was only 5 seconds separating the two. Steinberger was second, and Scaroni finished in 3rd place. Rick Johnson got tangled up in traffic on Sunday's last lap, causing him to be over the 85-minute time limit. For Larry Plank, it was an unexpected victory since he came to the race with only a minimal prep job. Larry, how'd it go for you?
Everything went perfect out there. First off, I want to thank my crew. They stayed up late last night to do a tranning change. We lost the tranning, I think, about on the first lap again today. We started to lose the tranning, so we started to having to milk it. This is Dana Nicholson, the co-driver. Did a killer job. First time ever in the truck. Everything went perfect.
What'd you think about a course like this?
It's beautiful. There's no time for attrition. You either go fast or you don't win. That's the way I like it.
That's it for the show. Be sure to tune in next time when we bring you more racing, more driving tips with Ivan Stewart, and more of your favorite heroes in off-road racing. I'm Danielle Martin. Until next time, thanks for joining us on Pro Truck TV.